Picture this. You're in a busy department store in Osaka. A mother and her 3-year-old are standing in the toy aisle. The child reaches for something on the shelf. The mother says no, and then nothing happens. The child looks at her. She looks at him. He makes a small sound, almost like he's deciding whether to cry. And then it passes. They move on. No screaming, no floor, no strangers staring. You'd think you imagined it. Now picture the same moment in almost any Western mall, on any Saturday afternoon. Something is different. And it is not what most people assume. Most people who notice this jump to one of two explanations. Japanese children are more obedient, or Japanese culture is stricter. Both are wrong. The reality is something far more interesting. And once you understand it, you'll stop trying to manage your child's tantrums and start doing something that actually works. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a 3-part framework that Japanese parents use to raise children who self-regulate in public. Not through punishment, not through fear, but through something that begins weeks before you ever leave the house. Now, before we go any further, let's address something uncomfortable. A tantrum is not a discipline problem. Let me say that again. A tantrum is not bad behavior. It is a neurological event. When a child melts down, the prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-making part of the brain, goes completely offline. What remains is pure emotion, pure survival response. Telling a child in that state to calm down is like telling someone mid-sneeze to stop sneezing. The biology simply does not care what you want. Researchers at the University of Washington studied over 1,400 tantrum episodes across different cultural groups and found something remarkable. The duration, intensity, and recovery time of tantrums varied significantly. Not by the age of the child, but by what the caregiver did in the 30 seconds before escalation. What a parent does in that window determines almost everything that follows. Japanese parents have understood this for generations. They didn't have the neuroscience to explain it, but they had something better. They had a word, Kimochi. Kimochi means feelings, but inside Japanese parenting, it means something far more specific. It is the moment-by-moment practice of naming your child's emotional world out loud, before the feeling becomes a behavior. Here is how it works in practice. When a Japanese mother sees her child's face shift, the slight tightening around the eyes, the pause before the voice rises, she doesn't wait, she speaks, not to redirect, not to distract. She says, "You really wanted that toy. That feels so disappointing." That's it. She names the feeling, and she does not try to fix it. She doesn't say, "It's okay," because to the child right now, it is not okay. She simply witnesses it. Here's what happens neurologically when she does. When a feeling is named, activity in the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, measurably decreases. UCLA neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman calls this affect labeling. The act of putting words to an emotion reduces its intensity almost immediately. Japanese mothers do this instinctively, constantly, from infancy. So by the time a child is 3 years old standing in a toy store, they already have hundreds of hours of experience receiving their feelings back as language, instead of silence or shame. The feeling arrives, it is named, it passes, no floor, no screaming, just a child who was heard. But Kimochi is only the first layer. The second concept is harder to translate. It is called Jibun day. Roughly, by yourself, more precisely, through your own experience. Japanese parents hold a deep belief that a child who is always rescued from discomfort becomes a child who cannot tolerate discomfort. This is not a harsh philosophy. It is actually the opposite of harsh. It comes from profound respect for the child's capacity. So when the emotional weather shifts, Japanese mothers do not immediately swoop in. They stay present, they stay close, but they wait. They give the child space to move through the feeling. And when the child does, even partially, even imperfectly, that moment becomes the foundation of something that cannot be given. The knowledge stored in the body, in the nervous system, that I can feel this and survive it. Developmental psychologists call this distress tolerance. A 2019 study published in Child Development found that children who were allowed to experience and work through moderate emotional difficulty without immediate parental intervention scored significantly higher on self-regulation measures at age 5 than children whose parents intervened every time distress appeared. The irony of always rescuing your child from hard feelings is that it produces a child who is more easily overwhelmed, not less. Now, here is the third piece, and this is the one that most parenting content completely misses. Japanese parents prepare children for environments before they enter them. There is no single name for this practice, but it is woven into daily life. Before a trip to a grocery store, a long train ride, a family meal at a restaurant, Japanese parents narrate the experience, what they will see, how long it will last, what the rules of that space are, what the child can expect, not as a warning, not as a threat, as information. When we go to the store today, we are buying 3 things. We are not getting toys today. If you feel sad about that, you can feel sad. We'll be home in an hour. This does something the child's developing brain urgently needs. It removes uncertainty. And uncertainty, researchers now confirm, is one of the primary neurological triggers of emotional dysregulation in young children. A child who knows what is coming can prepare. A child who is surprised again and again by transitions, denials, and sudden changes will eventually stop trusting the world and start screaming at it. The public meltdown is almost never really about the toy. It is almost always about a child who had no map for where they were going. So here is your practical starting point, beginning today. Before you leave the house, narrate the plan. 2 sentences. What you're doing, how long, what they can and cannot have. Treat your child's brain like a nervous system that needs information to stay regulated. Because that is exactly what it is. In the moment the face changes, name the feeling before you do anything else. Before you redirect, before you offer alternatives, say it out loud. You're frustrated. You wanted to stay longer. Watch what happens when a child feels understood before they are managed. And when the wave comes, stay close and stay calm. You are not rescuing. You are not panicking. You are the regulation they are borrowing until they can generate their own. Your nervous system genuinely regulates theirs. This is the neuroscience of co-regulation. You cannot teach a child to be calm by panicking beside them. Kimochi, Jibun, preparation. Feelings witnessed, resilience trusted, world made predictable. These are not secrets belonging to Japan. They are human developmental truths that Japanese culture quietly preserved while much of the Western world was searching for faster fixes. The child on the floor of the shopping mall is not a bad child. That child is a nervous system that was never given a map. Give them the map. Name the feelings. Trust the struggle. You can start tonight. If this changed the way you see your child's behavior, share it with a parent who needs to hear it, and subscribe. Every week, we go deeper into the real psychology of how children's minds develop. See you in the next one.